Hello and welcome to A Podcast Has a Name. I'm Saul.
And this is Alec here.
And with us, our new host today is Connor.
Hello, I'm Connor.
So back in the beginning of Season 6, Connor and I were doing our own Game of Thrones podcast called I Hate Game of Thrones.
Well, I think doing our own podcast is fairly generous. We did about 1.5 episodes. During both recording sessions, I did manage to fall asleep mid-recording.
Yeah, that was intense. It was great.
That counts.
I think avant-gardeness can't be overlooked making any good podcast.
It was very experimental. It was, yeah.
David Byrne of podcasting.
So, last week's episode ended with a whole lot of fire, and then Bronn saved Jaime, and that's where we pick up this week, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I believe that's more or less the skirt.
So, see in the notes that Alec provided here that how are Jaime and Bronn nowhere near Dany and Tyrion? I felt the same way when the episode started because he must have been so heavy. I guess like Bran swam him over there or something. Like the way they cut it seems like they're coming out of the water for the first time.
Yeah, which they are very far away, and that's very heavy armor.
Yeah, and the water wasn't really flowing very much. I know he does say it's a river.
It's a very lazy river.
Yeah,
very lazy.
Well, also in the ending shot last week, it just seemed like he was just sinking straight down. Like there wasn't any like sway either way. It was just like, well, he's dead.
And also, it was a very deep river apparently, because the horse was in it only a few feet away from where they fell, running.
Yep.
Normal style. And then he is just fucking sinking like
it's just a good spot to do it, like a rope swing.
Yeah, it's just it's a glacial river, so it's very, very steep sides, huh? Kind of like that.
So Bronn kind of lays out his philosophy of how shit is going right now. He tells Jaime that he saved him because he still owes Bronn a fucking castle and more gold. And then he said something like, all this dragon shit, like, this is not what I signed up for. Even though he just threw himself into the dragon fight, like, in a big way last episode. He was like, he didn't have to get on the ballista and try to shoot the dragon.
Yeah, that's true. Coming from him, the person who's come closest to killing it.
Yeah, Bronn, like, it seems like if that was really true that he wasn't down for dragons, that he would have just dipped. Like, right when the dragon showed, he would have been like, well, bye, Jaime.
I'm surprised that... I mean, I can understand they don't really necessarily need to go into too much detail with their troops and with, like, the small folk. We have a very focused...
They do.
Well, I mean, you have to focus the show, sure. But it's interesting that there wasn't an issue of massive amount of people being like, nope. Like, no.
Well, they broke their ranks.
Yeah, they were just, like, traveling. Like, they didn't know that they weren't attacking the dragon or anything. The dragon just kind of, like, showed up.
Appeared. But, I mean, still, like, if a dragon just, like, showed up, I'd be like, all right.
Time to run away.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it's a little, like, weird that Jaime was like, all right, form up. And everybody was like, all right, this is happening.
I feel like anyway.
I guess you gotta go down like a badass or something.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it seems like Jaime would have... I mean, character-wise, how they moved him along in the show, it seems like he would have probably been like, hey, let's not do this right now. Let's not try to fight this dragon right now. Let's run away because we just got a bunch of gold and money. Like, let's probably get the fuck out of here, right?
Jaime never really did much, like, learning and getting smarter, though, on the battlefield.
Which is unfortunate.
It was very, like,
fucked up by that
vintage Jaime, just, like, see thing, charge at thing.
Well,
I think that part was really... I think we're kind of jumping back an episode.
I thought one of the things that could have happened was that he saw the Mad King's daughter and he, like, associated that bright blonde hair with wanting to fucking kill her.
Yeah.
And was like, alright, I'm gonna take her down again for the good of the realm.
Oh, man. There's some weird Mad King stuff in this episode.
Yeah. They really lay it on super hard. They even talk about it directly, like in case, like Tyrion and Varys talk about it, and then I can't remember. Somebody else talks about it later.
I think we'll get there soon enough after this little like Tyrion scene. But I think these accusations are unjust. But
Yeah, Danny Sulu's got a lot of rules going against her. Anyways,
The
so
Tyrion bit was I think that was an interesting segue. I like keeping the Lannister boys together on screen wise. That was really nice.
cutting from Jaime and Bronn over to Tyrion walking through the ashes.
Yep.
Yeah, I forget who said it out loud when we were watching it last night, but someone said, "Oh, he must be looking for Jaime," and it's like that's definitely what Tyrion's doing.
They had the song, the Reigns of Castamere, slowly, sadly playing.
Is that right? I
Slowly,
didn't.
So what is that, like number 37 for the series so far?
Yeah.
Like the amount of times they've used that music.
Hey guys, you know what everyone you know what song we all know and love? That one song.
Mbop?
Yeah, Mbop. I think an emotional drony ballad of that would have been well suited for Tyrion, just like doing his like Pippin Return of the King walk, looking for elephants don't breathe fire.
He didn't seem to.
No,
I guess he didn't find him. So is he assuming that he's lost, like burnt to?
Well, I mean, no, because
to a crisp.
I think he gets Game of Thrones, so I think he saw the episode last week.
Yeah, they
so
all had HBO. They get it. Also, maybe, as far as I remember, he was watching Jaime like an idiot, kind of charge at her.
yeah, he saw Jaime go in the water, so I feel like he would normally be assuming that Jaime was dead, but then later in the episode, he's like, "I gotta go talk to Jaime." It's like, what? But whatever, I guess, you know, maybe he saw Bronn swim Jaime out and he didn't say anything, but
that seems like something he would do.
I like to think that Tyrion had some sort of like duty that Daenerys was like, all right, you gotta go down and do this, like you're supposed to be like leading the troops, and he was like, well, instead of doing that, I'm just gonna look for Jaime.
I thought it was crazy how everyone was like in statue, as they were like when the dragon came, like blocking their face like Pompeii.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a very apt comparison.
Yeah, I was going to compare it to what I've experienced it in my real life, which is Dark Souls. So,
yes.
So then Dany gives the speech to the people, and she says, "You join me, you kneel, or I kill you." Which it seems like a pretty fair proposition.
I think that Tyrion's reaction is very telling, because he's kind of like, yeah, you're offering him the choice, like bend the knee or die, but then at the same time he's like, but you can't kill him.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think it's also that they were lords and Tyrion had more respect for them.
But
Tyrion's real racist and classist, so he's like, these are white guys who are rich. We can't just kill them.
Yeah. And I think I get as we said, like I don't think all these mad queen king comparisons are very fitting. I think that it's a totally reasonable thing for Dany to roast these guys, because I mean, she gave them a choice, as she said, and they made the choice because they wanted to be a symbol, and she needs to break that symbol. Like her stupid rich and poor thing was a little weird.
The wheel crushes the rich and the poor. It's what?
I mean, and then
I guess a lord every here and there dies as part of the Game of Thrones.
That's the kind of shit a rich person says.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that a Trump supporter says.
Yes. But I made this kind of point to Alec earlier. Is like, Robert was well renowned for winning enemies into friends. But even for that, I think that was largely because it was a rebellion. It was because he had to win these guys onto his side, or else he's totally fucked. Like, he has very limited resources. He has very kind of limited troops. So winning these other guys over was certainly was cool and badass, but it was 100% not the normal way of going about finishing a battle. You definitely need to make an impact on these troops and make an impact culturally and in the actual feudal system, in this lord's king system. You have to show your strength. If she has dragons, she has to be like, hey, I'm gonna use these. She isn't Cersei, sure, but you need to win the war first, and then when you have the throne in peace, you can be like, hey, for real, I'm not the Lannisters. I'm not Robert. I am an active, dutiful, fair, just, and hopefully responsible ruler. Yeah. I guess we'll see.
I think it goes to character, because Bobby B was, a fun drunk, so he would get drunk with the people that he fucked up and be like, it's not gonna happen again, right? You're on my side now? Alright, we cool? Alright, cool. And Dany's like, I have dragons, so be afraid of me and follow me, or you will literally die.
Yeah. And then again, she has a lot of hideous things in her past, certainly, like the crucifying of all the masters or whatever, which I'm totally about. I love that. That's a really interesting political move, and I think that even beyond that, she really had the people that, she had the smaller people in her focus, but wasn't necessarily able to do much for them.
Well, let's talk about the Tarleys a little bit here,
Sure,
because so they just freshly joined Cersei's side after, the Tyrells got burnt. And I think it's Tyrion asking the questions of, pointed questions of like, what, you just switched sides, why not switch again? Which really doesn't make any sense. And
they were loyalists during the rebellion, the Tarleys.
Or why doesn't he just say he's switching and then not?
I don't know. He just wants to die now. This is like Lord Tarley being like, well, I had a good run, I'm out, I lost.
He gets his little racist jabs in.
Yeah, but it doesn't really make sense because he says that she has no tie to this land. It's like, hey, you ever heard of the Targaryens?
Yeah, you were on our side.
You were not born in Westeros, and you didn't. You didn't get grown up here.
Danny was born in
Westeros.
Danny should have said, "My lord," and gave her the thing that she did to Jon Snow about how they bent the knee. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's very fair.
She should have at least tried to they should have had her try to make some sort of move towards Dickon of be like, do you really want your house to die? Like, Tyrion's the one who makes that move, but I really don't.
His dad even tries. His dad nods and tries to get him to do it, obviously, but he wouldn't say it out loud. He's just that manly. And I have questions about.
So manly.
I have questions about the succession in the Tarley household now.
Sam is not able to take the seat because he is in the Night's Watch still. He is not relieved of his vows. Just because Jon sent him away does not mean that he's not.
He knows
still
a lot.
Watch.
He knows a handful of kings though. One.
Any other Tarly
one who left.
Yeah.
He met Stannis once.
yeah.
The one true king.
Yeah.
That's how
old Spanish.
That's how he heard the first time where the dragon glass is.
Yeah, which the show loves to just skirt over.
He forgot.
Stannis told you about this, bro. I remember.
Sam wasn't listening. Sam's like, oh my god, this guy's so boring.
It's like, I can't hear you over the grinding of your teeth, my guy. Just can't do it.
So, but I mean, it does make any sense. Like, why is he having this loyalty for Cersei? Like, why?
And I can understand certainly making that decision when you're talking to Jaime and you're in the room there.
Yeah.
But then I also really, 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 really understand making a better decision to stick to your guns in the face of a dragon.
I mean, the only thing that I can conclude is that he just, he lost this battle and he takes it as such, a slight against his honor or something that he wants to die an honorable death. It's just dumb.
Yeah, did they say he never lost a battle before? Or just that he beat Robert was the one thing?
I think maybe it was
the one battle Robert lost was him.
Yeah, I think that was it, yeah.
Okay.
So, then we go to, Jaime and Cersei again.
Well, for the first time this one. This particular
episode. Yeah. The first time in this episode we get
and he kind of dishes out some cold shit. Am I right? Is this where he tells about...
Yeah, he's like, we are going to lose. Olenna killed Joffrey, and she's like, I can't believe you believe that. Oh, did she drink the poison? Oh, yeah, so she was about to die before she told you? Mm-hmm. It's like, wait, but what? That doesn't make any sense. She's about to die, so she lied? What?
I think she finally believed him after when
he reasoned it out. He's like, you are Olenna. Who do you want your daughter to marry?
Yeah.
And Cersei has
that. Cersei's like, Joff, because Joff's the best.
Tommen would never... Lena Headey is such a wonderful actress, and it's a shame that they have absolutely nothing for her to do.
I mean, as long as they have her being smug, I'm fine. I will live on those smug looks.
I wasn't around for this episode to do the show with you guys, but I love how her handmaid also is required to have short hair. But I have short hair, then you must as well.
I like to think that
it wasn't in style.
Yeah, it wasn't a decree that she put out, but
it was understood.
Somebody got hurt because they didn't change their hair.
It's like a Kylo Ren Stormtrooper thing. It's like you see Queen Ren throwing a hissy fit, you Stormtrooper turn around. You gotta read the room.
So one thing I thought that was funny that Cersei said about, I think she says in her mind she's winning. And it's like, so that means in your mind you think you're winning.
Isn't Cersei kind of winning? Like
I guess.
Everything
in like
in
a
this
Charlie Sheen kind of way.
everything in this season so far has been kind of contrived to have Dany like be put in a worse and worse position. But like none of it makes any sense. She's right next to King's Landing, yet Jaime is able to operate from King's Landing and send his troops out to do other shit. Like, she's right next to King's Landing. She has the dragon. She's willing to use them, but she's not willing to just win the war. Like, there's all this emphasis being put on, we need to be better than the way it was before. It's like, you know what's better than how it was before? Getting the fuck rid of Cersei Lannister and then saving everyone from the White Walkers.
Yes.
Like, burn who you need to, get that shit done.
The thing is that they don't know about Dany and Jon and and company don't know about the wildfire, correct?
Well, wouldn't they know about it now after the explosion?
No, they would, because Tyrion knew about it.
Yeah, they know about the explosion.
Tyrion's there. Okay, so Tyrion's there, so they all
They-
must know about it. So yeah, why wouldn't you be super, just burn it? Just get rid of it. Just like, okay,
Well, that's like...
sucks, but we have to do this, but we gotta
how
do
many...
it.
I mean, like, I'm not sure, like, the show's estimation of how many people are living in King's Landing. But it's a lot. It's a lot of people. And it's, I think at this point, maybe I can start to understand this now. Like, politically, if you murder, let's say, like, very, very modestly, at least 12,000 people in one go, that's not a great look politically.
I think Jaime said it was 500,000 people at one point.
Like, also, this is straight up
So
war.
you're saying
like,
she should light it up?
No, I'm saying that's like a bad move.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because if you want to hold the loyalty of, I guess, all the lords now are like 14-year-olds. So you can just like, show them your dragon and be like, hey, bud, take you for a ride
Show
sometime.
you my dragon.
The Sword of Sandy, like, yeah.
Show them your dragons.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but Alec just lifted his shirt to reveal his dime-sized nipple.
We need
Dime is too big. Alec has tiny nipples.
We need a visual medium for this show, because
Alec posts some on YouTube. He puts some images.
Perfect. Can we get a nice iPhone shot?
Yeah, get a nip slip shot.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it at my place when you guys aren't around.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just, we're gonna turn that
It'll be really tasteful and well lit. Don't worry.
black and white.
Sepia, I think.
Yes.
So
Put a nice border on it.
and
Christmas card.
yeah, they focus so much on this being about like Dany taking the high road, and also with the explosion, I wanted to put in that if it was like the books way the wildfire works is when the Sept of Baelor exploded, the entire city would have
The
exploded.
entire city.
Everything is gone. So that means that it's not as volatile as what we know about in the books. So that means hypothetically she could just burn it with her dragons and it would be fine, but they should be worried about the wildfire.
And we don't know
Tyrion should
where
be on
it
case
is.
about
We
this.
don't know where it exactly is. In the books, it's everywhere except for the Sept.
And they also just don't know where it all is.
Oh, yeah,
These
that's
hidden
right.
caches.
Yeah,
They
that's
find
true.
Shit.
Yeah, the Mad
Some,
King did just hide it.
I remember in the book, this drunk guy was getting it with this lovely woman of the evening at the Dragon Dome pit.
Oh, yeah.
And he drunkenly fell through the floor and thought this was some sort of like sexy booze, some green booze, some absinthe, and he drank it and he had a bad evening.
Yeah, worst absinthe ever.
Yeah. I mean, absinthe does have a fire element, but it's more in like the preparation than the actual consumption.
Didn't one of the Targaryen kings drink wildfire?
Yeah, that was Bright Flame, Aryan Bright Flame.
Aryan Bright Flame. He thought he would become a dragon.
That guy was a dick. I didn't like that boy.
He had issues.
Egg forever. Heart.
So
hashtag king egg.
So let's jump to the next scene we have is Dany returning from her battle on the dragon.
Oh yeah, the very, very sensual touch a dragon scene.
So what you don't know about the way that dragon working works is that a dragon's nose is more or less the clitoris for
the upper gum.
And you didn't see this part of the shot because it was from Dany's point of view, but Jon started licking the dragon a little bit. So a little callback to the fair cunnilingus.
Goodness.
And she renamed it the King's Kiss.
Yes.
The king's kiss.
I was actually, let's jump back to that scene forever ago. I was actually like so glad that the show was for once able to show a woman being like pleasured. That was such a nice turn of events like that I never expected from these two assholes.
It's been a long ass time since we've had any sort of fun sex scenes. Like, do they think that the whiplash from like season 5 was about sex? Like, do they not understand the difference between rape and sex? That like,
well, my thoughts are no. Like these two boys particularly do not, and that's really disturbing. The
only actual romance that we've seen in this like season is like people that can't have penetrative sex. Yeah, that's it. And like they teased us with a little bit of like, oh, they're gonna lesbian fuck, but it was also like, oh man, gay people are so slutty, they just get it on no matter what for no reason.
These are some very misogynistic people putting this show together, and that kind of comes through in like every scene with a woman in there, because the way that a woman would use her power in the scenes is like. So it's like so much like porn plot, if you will. It's just someone who has absolutely no empathy trying to write something for someone they have absolutely no care for.
And I think that comes back a little bit in the Tyrion Varys scene, which pissed me off a lot, because they're both just talking about, it's like, oh, we need to get her to listen. And it's like, at least she's not as bad as her father. And it's like, both of these guys are conniving fuckers. Yes. Like, they are not afraid to get their hands dirty, and yet they're judging Dany for, like, doing war, which they both knew they were part of. Like, I wasn't the one. It's like, Varys is so slimy, and in the show, they let him be, like, he's such a white knight. And, like, he and Tyrion are both such white knights. It's like, let these guys have some grease.
Kind of straight away from he touches a dragon, which is fun. And that scene, as, like, soft and quiet as it was, I think they really kind of, like, misused the pacing of that scene. I think that was a big...
touching the dragon?
Yeah, that was a kind of a glaring issue for me on this particular episode, is, like, their misuse of time.
I wish that they could have like talked a little. I mean, not her just be like, "Oh my god."
That's the thing. Like, it would have been amazing if she like was able to say to him, like, "You're like the only person who's ever touched my dragon besides me." Like, that's pretty buck wild.
A pretty good precursor for them to finally fucking fuck.
Well, maybe become maybe not fuck. Maybe see eye to eye. Maybe be like.
I feel like they see eye to eye in this episode.
They do, but I mean, I think it'd be nicer if, like, for Daenerys to like make a like confident choice based on like emotions and character, as opposed to like, I have to win. It's like, I think she's a lot smarter than that. Like, even in the show, she's proven that a lot of different times, especially in the East.
I just feel like fucking Jon just has nothing to do with winning or losing. I mean, it could if someone mentioned a marriage alliance, but like they could just be like, all right, it feels right, let's fuck. It's like, all right, and then
I'm a king, you're a queen.
Moving on, you go do your thing. You go back to the north. I'll stay here. I'm like, it was nice that we fucked, but we're just moving on as associates.
I am not a hardline pro fuck Jon Dany person.
I mean, they've been schmuck baiting the audience for like 3 solid episodes now.
Like, I would say that I would feel let down if they don't now.
I just, like, I don't understand what's the point of showing all these sensual moments when neither of them are going to capitalize on it. It's like, there's not that much show left. What are you waiting for?
Well, again, I think they don't have any idea what the fuck to do with their time.
Yep.
The Davos scene, as much as I loved it because Davos is my boy, that was just a poor use of the show, but we'll get there. So let's jump to the next scene here.
So Jon and Dany have their thing and Jorah shows up.
Oh my god! Yeah, Jorah shows up. You know, I was really prepared for Jon to be like, "You fake motherfucker," and just like pull the sword out and be like, "Yeah, you know, the sword that should be yours is gonna kill you, because you're a fuck and your dad is like a good." You know, and I was really prepared for that, but then I was so pleasantly surprised by the fact that I was like, really, I was totally on board with Dany being like, "Hey, come here, buddy. Miss you." Like, that was very nice. I didn't expect to like that, but that was very nice.
There was almost like that Dario sexual tension there, where he was like kept looking at Jon when he was like touching her, like, who's getting friend zoned here? Like, who's like, where's the awkwardness coming? Is he worried that Jon and her are fucking and he's jealous, or is he worried doesn't want Jon to think that they are, or does he think they actually are going to?
Yeah, there's weird tension where there should be none in this scene.
Yes,
I do not understand.
If Jorah's coming back, like, he has to realize that, like, he cannot be as close to Daenerys as he was before.
If the showrunners want to play it as they are, as Jorah and Dany are all forgiven and they're great friends, then they have to be okay with it too. You can't be like, oh, but they're not friends in this universe.
Yeah.
I would like it if there was some indication that Jon was like still not okay with Jorah because like Ned was gonna kill him and Jorah ran away. But then he like made the choice of like, Dany likes him, maybe don't. Maybe don't be an honor douche in this time.
Or he could have said something that Jorah has never heard before about his dad. You know, your dad's a great man.
He could pull a Bran and be like, I know what your dad's scrotum looks like.
like a lot.
I saved your dad's scrotum from a wife.
From a fire. A real fire.
Well, I guess Jorah, like, he volunteers the way that he knows to.
He uses his skill set. He knows that he's not necessarily like a great tactician in the realm of like Tyrion or Varys or even Daenerys herself. He knows his role. That was a good play by the showrunners. I like that.
I think that Jorah being back also is just kind of shows like a weird use of time. Like, why was there so much time on Jorah and Dario in Meereen? And then why even bother giving Jorah grayscale when like nobody is suspicious of this grayscale core? Like even fucking Tyrion shakes his hand.
So like also like okay, so he just literally cured
immediately
polio. That's fucking incredible.
And if you look at all the scenes with him grayscale, there's probably like an hour of him like inspecting it and showing it, and there's probably only like 10 or 12 minutes of him getting cured.
And how is he sexy again? Like he should have like weird skin now. Like it should look bad.
Yeah,
even though it got cut away.
He's very covered. I will say he's wearing quite a bit of clothing.
He's not wearing that shitty, like nasty yellow cream colored shirt anymore. At least he has like a black, nice Lord shirt.
That was the biggest thing splitting him and Dany up was the shirt. Dany's like, "Oh, you got a new shirt. What up?"
Wow.
We could have for you, buddy. Nice.
We could have been together if you had changed once in a while.
Shirt makes the night. Oh well, too late now.
Yeah. Well, I think. Pleasant surprises there, but the next scene
is that's Bran seeing stuff.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty cool how like he seemed like he was like switching crows every little while. You would see it blink like the white eye.
Yeah. Didn't they show like a crow with white eyes or something?
Yeah, it was and it switched between birds.
I thought it was kind of funny how they started like they showed the crows leaving Winterfell and then showing up Eastwatch. It's like just warg into
crows.
Warg into a bird closer.
Yeah. Like you are the Matrix. Like you can pick which bird you want a bird.
He's like, shit, I got a bird in the south. It's like, well, this is gonna take a while.
Yeah. Remember that scene from The Matrix 2 where there's like 80 Hugo Weavings?
How could I forget?
Yeah, just do that, Brandon.
Just get into a different Hugo Weaving.
Just pick a Hugo Weaving closer to the fucking Eastwatch.
Oh, this is Lord of the Rings. Don't want to be in Rivendell.
Yeah. It's the guy from The Matrix. Anyway.
So, yeah, and then they send out the warning ravens for people saying, like, they are coming, they are here. And this is like, why didn't Bran send out the White Walkers message first? Like,
moment he passed through the wall.
Also, why didn't Jon?
I think it was specifically Eastwatch is where I see that they're almost there.
Yeah, I get that it's like imminent attack, like it's new news, but the way that it's played is like people are learning for the first time the White Walkers. And there's a lot of like learning and then people just being like, yeah, White Walkers are a thing, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe the small folk especially, because Gendry was like super, super, super ready to believe that, but the small folk are typically a lot more inclined to believe some flights of fancy. And the Return of Dragons, I think, definitely is going to be a big indicator that magic is like a thing again. Because like people know that dragons were a thing. People know that magic is a thing, kinda. So it's like, okay, dragons are back. I could see some ice guys.
Yeah, there's not a lot of context for like how the layman sees all this fucking crazy shit that's going on right now. It's tough to really know.
Again, you have to focus the show. I mean, you have wonderful actors. You can't just like kind of like throw a couple quick minute scenes of like someone walking by. You got to focus the show. That's fair.
So, I mean, I just think like if you could have that be part of a scene. Like there's not a lot of style that cuts down time for information. Like there's a lot of ways that you can use cinematography to show a lot of information in a very condensed amount of time, or just have like the, scene, transitions. I can just have parts where you see small folk or you hear it, just like have it be a regular thing that it's like, oh, we're going to King's Landing, we're going up, you see a couple people and then we're there, instead of just like cut to this room.
I think well said.
So anything else to say about Bran and his fly?
There's not a hell of a lot to fucking say about Bran, man.
Will these White Walkers just fucking like hustle?
I do love that. Like he's like, hey, we really got it. Like, so the Raven flies and takes its goddamn time crossing a continent to get to the Maester's Hall. Then John is at place. Then he goes somewhere. Then he comes back. Then he goes to there being Eastwatch. And it's like, yeah, this was like a couple days. Like, it was a couple day trip. And it's like, no. Like, that was like, these walkers are taking quite a while to get to and fro.
They've been slowly walking towards the wall for a lot of time
and they don't sleep, so they really should.
They don't sleep. They don't eat. They should be good time. And it's like Bran saw them right next to Eastwatch, and then when John and the other guys go in, there's still nobody there. It's just...
one thing on the map that I noticed is that they changed the water outside of Eastwatch back to liquid water, where earlier in the season they had changed it so it looked like it was frozen, and everyone thought the White Walkers were just going to walk around, and I was saying that's fucking stupid.
They're actually going to ice skate around. That is stupid.
The Whites would have a dirty hockey team.
Yeah, no, I've always thought, I've spent a lot of time thinking about Westeros hockey, and I just think Bear Island is the place for hockey.
I will say, in the past, Saul and I did fill out individual rosters of various characters.
We got line combinations and everything.
It was pretty good, yeah.
I just want to share that my third line was Stannis, flanked by Davos and Corrin Halfhand. So there's only 4 hands on that line, but it's 4 badass hands.
I will say that. I believe I came up with that line.
Okay, fine. But I invented hockey.
No. I was like, no, I was definitely the one who brought Corrin.
Connor, I'm the one who lays skates on your feet and put a stick in your hand. I'm the one who taught you what hockey means.
There's gotta be a better name for the game. Put skates on your feet.
Jamie could use a blocker. So he would have his left-handed glove and the blocker on his.
He'd be a dirty goalie because he catch the puck.
He should get a big golden hand to use as his goalie glove.
Oh, that would be great.
He actually hits himself in the head with it when he does this.
Pretty good.
And metal.
Yeah.
So Bran sends the Ravens out, and then we go down to Old Town, and we get to spend a little time with Sam.
Wait, just one more thing about the time here. So Bran sends the message. It goes from Winterfell down. Bran sees that they're very close to Eastwatch. They send the message down to Jon, and then Jon travels up to Eastwatch, and they're still not under attack.
Yes. Exactly that.
No time passes in the show unless it's convenient for the plot.
That's true.
It's so obnoxious. Especially when, in the books, time passing and, information slowly making its way over the land is, part of the fun of, seeing how long shit takes.
Yeah. And I feel like the trip that Davos takes from Dragonstone into King's Landing and then back would realistically take about a week.
No, Dragonstone is right next to King's Landing, so that's one that I could buy that could happen in one episode, because it's literally just boom, and right down the
It's
Blackwater.
in the bay or on the bay.
I agree that it is very, very proximate, but I think it's a bit farther than that, especially in a fucking a road.
I mean, it's nothing compared to the traveling to the Rock or to Highgarden.
Euron is hey bro, I'm gonna be in 2 places at once.
We have to keep. They don't have motor. They don't have motorboats too, unfortunately.
Davos actually has a motorboat. That's what makes him. She's a U-boat.
It's his mouth. He runs that shit.
Oh yeah, this Davos fucks. We learn in this episode.
Yes. Davos fucks. So Sam is. He's just trying his best.
He's just trying his best.
Yeah, so we see all of the Maesters, or no, a handful of the Maesters, not all of them. But we see the most we've ever seen, except for that one eating scene.
The most official capacity.
Yes, exactly. They're having their board meeting. And Ebros seems to be like presiding over them. Although there are other archmaesters, right?
Yes,
it's just
yes.
a rank,
I
so
think
it's not like
those
he's
guys
the
were
pope.
all likely peers. They were all likely archmaesters.
Okay, yeah.
I have to assume,
Or at least some
Yeah.
of them were, and there's some like
Yeah, that
maesters who are
seems
their
right.
friends or
Yeah, cardinals.
lackeys.
Yeah, cardinal
Yeah, I thought they were pretty like giggly for archmaesters.
I kind of liked it as of like they don't give a fuck what's really happening.
Yeah.
They're in their tower. They feel good.
I need my books.
Yeah.
It's summer.
They brought up Jenny of Old Stones, and they brought up another prophecy, and they were saying basically saying prophecies are bullshit.
Yeah.
No, they were saying prophecies are bullshit,
Yeah.
and people are charlatans.
And at least
Yes, it'll bite your cock off.
Yes.
They don't really just seem to be on the case about anything. Like there's not. We haven't really got a sense of what they're trying to do or how they feel about this whole like dragons coming and where their allegiances lie. It's just like no, we're chilling.
That's one of the book plots that's really interesting is the Maesters being anti-magic, anti-dragon, and like the theory that they were purposely trying to poison and kill off the dragon.
Yeah, and that's why the dragons got killed.
I love that theory. That makes a lot of sense in George's world. In the show, I think that at the very least, Ebros has like a succinct reason as to cast doubt over the message. It's like this could be from the Dragon Queen to kind of like lure Southern forces north. I'm like, hey, that's like that's not an unreasonable thing to think. And that was at least you had something concrete-ish to like
I mean
cast doubt with. It wasn't just some like.
I mean, they come to the right conclusion, where he says we need more information. But, like, he teases over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I could do so, Samwell. I could.
But
I could also jerk off nice and slow for you. Basically, fuck you,
I
Charlie.
think it's an example of like the writing being so thin, but where a talented actor, I don't know the guy that plays Ebros,
He's
but
just
like
so great.
he,
like, Broadbent.
wonderful.
he gives such a performance that you can really read anything into. You can read that he has something going on and he's just like putting Sam on the side. He just like, keeps track of him and, that he has his own shit that he's worrying about, but he's just putting on a show or whatever. But there's no actual text about that.
I really do love how Sam has grown more and more through this past season, like the past few episodes, like where he's like, yeah, fuck it, I know how to get some things done.
Yeah, and he's become bold in front of the Maesters, and he didn't even really get bitched at there. They even said he was a good lad.
He's like,
I'm wondering who the bad apples are.
Yeah.
If Sam's a good guy.
I mean, Sam is like he's very unassuming and doting. Like he's not an asshole or anything. He's
does
like
his
the definition of a
does
good
his
lad.
work,
Yeah.
does it well, doesn't bitch unless you're Gilly. And he bitches hard to you.
Yeah, I mean, in the Citadel, you would think that like not going directly against direct orders.
Again, you cure polio.
Yeah,
that's worth something. That's worth something.
Yeah.
No, it's like, he's fine. I'm gonna put him back on, shit detail.